Hello, welcome to Looking Through the Glass. This is going to be part four. Part four, right? Four?
Yeah.
Yeah, part four of Kat's story. All right, Kat. So we left off where the abuse, where Jared is. It's really starting to to ramp up, right?
Oh yeah. Um, I had moved into my own room in his house. Um, I was working and I would come home and all of my boxes that I had packed up and because I knew he was going through my shit. So there was boxes that I knew I wasn't opening. Um, I would come home from work and shit in my room would be moved around. Um, Boxes would be opened. Um, I noticed my clothes were starting to disappear. And when I say my clothes, I mean all end of my clothes. My socks
Under
and my pants.
is what you're getting to.
Huh?
So, what do you mean by that?
Um, my underwear, my bras, my shirt.
Okay, undergarments. Okay, that's what I thought you meant. Okay,
Um,
I was just making sure.
yeah, so I'm noticing that all of these are coming up missing and I know I'm not misplacing them. Like I can use and I know where all my shit is. I may lose my keys. I may be looking for my phone while I'm on my phone. But I don't misplace things like this. My jewelry was coming up missing. Um, so Jared and I had that sexual relationship where it was the best I've ever had. Um, it was that soul catching, star grabbing, unstoppable relationship there, even with the drugs. Um, it was like no matter where we were at in our relationship, that was always good. Very passionate, very surreal,
Hmm.
breathtaking. Um, well, it started to turn, and he started wanting men to join us, and he was on Grinder constantly looking for men to join us, and I'm the type that as long as you're not hurting me, do what you got to do what you want to do.
Huh.
Um,
Teach her.
Sorry, my cat stole my lighter. This is where it gets kind of hard for me, so bear with me. Um,
Okay. Take your time.
I've had many threesomes. I've had many foursomes. Ryan was that person that, we were so close and we trusted each other so much that from the time I was like 16 till I think right before I got with Chris, um, we could call each other up. Hey, you want a threesome? Hey, I'm looking for a third, I'm looking for a fourth. It didn't matter because we had that type of relationship where it was trust. It was unconditional love no matter what. And at the end of the day
Hmm.
or at the end of the threesome or the foursome, it stayed there. It didn't there were no feelings involved. It is what it was. So
Hmm.
with Jared, I went into it with that mindset, It is what it is.
Hmm.
Um and then it started to the point where I was waking up higher than shit after a crash out. Like, I didn't think that he was shooting me up because I was wanting to shoot myself up. Different people would be there, and I'd be forced to have sex with him and multiple people. If I didn't do it, he'd withhold blood. He would go days without talking to me if I didn't do it. He would go
He
and
would
leave
use
for
all the
days.
narcissistic tactics.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I finally started getting sick of it, and I started packing my stuff up, and I got a storage unit, and I was gonna leave, but I wanted my shit back. I wanted the stuff that he had stolen from me. And he had a whole nother side to him that nobody ever saw, and I saw it. Um, he would get all high and he would fag out. And he would get dressed in women's clothing. Head to toe. And because I knew that, I would get my ass beat. Kitty, stop! Oh, they're pulling out all my pens. And I got sick of keeping it as a quiet, and so I started calling him out on it. And I was like, the only reason we have problems is because you get so high that you fag out, and you get so high that you go through my shit, and so you're sitting here wondering why I'm going through your shit, wanting my shit back. Right before I left, he and I got physical with each other. He beat me up pretty good. He kicked me in the back of my leg so hard that I could see the shoe print, well, his boot print on the back of my thigh. I had bruises here, bruises on my back, because he picked me up and threw me on top of an air conditioner. He threatened to kill me. He threatened my kids, and when he threatened my kids, that was it. I called my buddy who was in Texas, and he came and helped me pack up my shit. And he saw the toxic cycle. Jared would go to our motel room and break into my trunk and steal whatever he wanted. He cut the lock on my storage unit once and destroyed my storage unit. So I finally left after that abuse. I go to Temple, Texas, and Matt and I get into our disagreement. And this is a friend, Matt. This isn't my ex. Lifelong friend. And we were both using, and he decided to go home and get clean. Well, I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to leave my kids. I wanted to figure it out. So the whole reason I'm in Colleen is Chris had me served for custody of Rye, my godson. I get there, and mind you, I am in my active addiction. I owned it. I owned it in court. I have never once denied that I was in active addiction. I never once denied I was struggling. So my visitations got reduced to or I had to drop it clean away. And he had full custody of the kids, and he could move from Clean to Odessa. So mind you, I'm in my active addiction. I am spiraling out of control. May, I end up breaking my foot. I can't work. I can't hustle. I can't, my dad raised me as a boy. I don't need a man. I want a man, and I could survive no matter what. So I end up getting stuck in Temple, Texas, and start hanging with the bad crowd, the wrong crowd. And my truck got stolen not once, but twice. And the second time it got stolen, I never saw it again. Well, I did. So I'm searching for my truck. I know who stole it. I had called it in, reported it stolen many times. Temple PD would not do anything because of the person that stole it. He's affiliated in drugs. He's affiliated in the gang side of it, and he is also known as a narc snitch. I reported my truck 9 times stolen, and not once did I get my truck back. May 11th, I believe. I'm not positive on the date here.
Mm-hmm.
No, May 11th when I broke my foot. So June, I want to say. I finally see my truck. I hear my truck. I am a truck girl. I am a car girl. I can work on them. I know the sound of my truck. I hear my truck down the street, and I'm in a boot, and I'm running down the street in my boot, and my truck is at a gas station. And I call them out on stealing my truck, and I called the cops immediately. Well, one of the kids that was in the truck got out of the truck, and while I was talking to the officers, I was distracted by talking to them. This kid spiked my coffee. And 12 hours later, not even, I was walking down Main Street in Temple, Texas, naked. Anybody that knows me knows that, especially after what Jared did, I hate my
How's
body.
this?
I don't like the way my body looks because of the scars.
Mm-hmm.
So an ambulance picks me up. I go to the hospital. I don't remember anything done at the hospital. I was so out of it. They released me, not in my clothes because I didn't have clothes. And about a month later, I get picked up on a warrant for a criminal mischief. Supposedly, sometime during this lovely walk around town naked, they're saying that I vandalized a 1969 Camaro. Anybody that knows me knows that that is my dream car. I would not do anything bad to a car, ever. I still to this day don't know what happened. I don't remember anything. I remember talking to the cops at like 2:30 in the morning. Every cop in town came by and witnessed me, and I think that this was a corrupt officer. I filed charges on him, and because I was not in the right state of mind, nothing ever happened with that. I never got my truck back. If I would have got my truck back, it would have been, my outcome in life would have been a lot different. I would have left Temple and I would have went to Colorado a lot sooner. And I would have gotten sober. So, fast forward to August 23rd. No, September 23rd. I see my truck, and during this time I was homeless, living on the streets anywhere I could. Surviving the best that I can. That morning, I had finally said, you know what, I'm taking my power back. I'm getting sober. I'm doing what I need to do for me. And I walk out of the gas station, and there's the kid that stole my truck, and I confronted him. And I called him out in front of everybody. And I told him, you need to figure out where the fuck my truck is. I want my truck back. And I left, and I was walking up the street, and here comes my truck, headed right towards me. And I confronted the guy that stole it. And in the process of that, he ran over my feet. That night, they found my truck. They arrested the kid that had it. They charged him with driving under suspension, not with stolen vehicle, not with the drugs, not with the guns he had on him. And I tried fighting tooth and nail to get my truck back. I tried getting my, everything I owned was in that truck. My dad was in that truck. And I pretty much got told I was shit out of luck. And 3 days later, after I report my truck stolen, mysteriously this criminal mischief is a warrant for my arrest. They arrest me, and the officers that arrested me told me that I needed to leave Bell County and I needed to leave in a hurry. And I was like, fuck you. I want my truck. I want my shit, I sit 15 days in jail. I get released on a PR bond. I'm sober. So I reach out to the one friend that I had, and he told me, Kat, you need to leave. It doesn't matter where you go, but you need to leave. This town is going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So I called Jared thinking, okay, I can go back to Jared. I can go get my car that's up there. And he's like, yeah, come on, let's go. I love you. I'm sorry you're going through this. I've been worried about you. I get down there, and mind you, I have nothing but the clothes in my bags, right? My stepdad sent me $1,000, and I had to use Jared's because I didn't have an ID. So Jared had to go and Walmart to Walmart. Well, I got $300 out of that $1,000. Jared took the rest. This money was supposed to help me get car insurance, help me get back to Colorado because my goal was to get sober. This is November at this time. We do nothing but fight, argue. The violence starts, the domestic violence starts. The drugging starts even worse. I find out that he's mixing my shots with fentanyl. Knowing that he is lying to me and he's doing this intentionally. I start getting angry because I see that nothing's changed. I see that he's using me. I see that he's love bombing me. I see that he's gaslighting me. Here we go again. My clothes are missing. Clothes that I know are mine. Because when you're homeless, you know what clothes you have.
Yeah, when you only have a bag full of clothes, you know what you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, I start going through the shit that's piled up in his house. And I start finding shit that he stole from me prior. So I start stacking that shit in my car. Well, next thing you know, he's grabbing these boxes of my shit and burning them. This ring was mine from when I was there the first time. I found it outside of his fire pit ring. And I got photos and proof of all this shit. And that's when the abuse starts. That's when he starts hitting me. That's when he starts degrading me. Telling me I'm a piece of shit. Telling me that my dad is so despised by me. That my kids are better off without me in their life. Well, he kept talking shit on my dad, and I told him, I said, you may not want to bring my dad's name up, dude. I know that with my dad, I can own my fuck-ups. I can be honest with my dad. I said, that's farther than what you can be. I said, you can't even tell your dad that you wear women's underwear, that you like it up the ass. I said, at least I can be honest with my dad. I said, you might want to learn how to be honest with your dad before your dad passes away. Are you laughing and hiding in the camera?
I love your blunt honesty. Like, we're both sitting there trying not to. I very much like the honesty in that was just like, damn. I love it though.
Oh, it gets better.
I was trying so hard to hide it.
That's why I love you,
So
Kat.
I tell him, you might not want to speak ill of my dad. You might want to become honest with your dad before your dad no longer here. And he turned around, he goes, my dad will never die. My dad's still here. I'm not like you, and I don't need to make amends with my dad. 3 days later, his dad died of a heart attack. God rest his soul, his dad was a good man. But I have a feeling that my mom and my dad scared the fuck out of his dad. And I'm sorry that his dad went that way, but I'm not sorry for Jared. Jared has done a lot of wrong in this world, and he's gotten away with a lot of it. So I tried to be there and support Jared, and I tried to, like, I remember how it was when my dad died.
Yeah.
Well, that anger came out on me. I was the punching bag. I was the problem. Right after Christmas, I got my ass handed to me about 6 hours. He stomped on my head. The last thing I remember was 3 times. I was locked in his bedroom. I made it out by the grace of God. And nobody deserves to be put through hell like that. Nobody deserves anybody ever put hands on them. If you're in a toxic situation, please seek help. Please get out. If they put hands on you once, go then. Don't go back. On average, women of domestic violence will go back 7 times. And I believe it is 70% of the women will not make it out of that abuse. Even though I got my ass handed to me, I still went back. I went back again and again.
Me too.
And the second time that it got physical, I got beat quite a while. It all started when we were hanging out with a friend of his, and we got home. This man stripped me down naked, searched me because he thought I had drugs that I wasn't sharing with him. He went through all of my belongings, took what he wanted, and then proceeded to force sex on me. And when I wasn't complying with him, I got my ass beat. Till the point of I blacked out. I woke up being dragged behind his truck with a rope around my neck. I was lucky I got out of that. I was lucky he had dressed me in the pair of pants that he dressed me in, had a knife in the pocket. I was extremely lucky. I packed up my shit and I left that night.
I'm not looking out for you on that one.
Well, my dumb ass goes back. Begs him to love me, begs him to just
accept you for the way you are.
Yeah, because I could accept him for being who he was. And that night that I went back, I walked in on him in full drag, fishnet stockings, a peak fishnet lingerie that was mine. He had on my underwear, my bra. And I told him, I said, I can accept you for this. Why can't you accept me? And That's when I realized, when I was on my hands and knees begging this man to love me, I needed help. I stayed in my car for about a month in Oklahoma. And then March 7th, Jared's birthday, he hung out with me that night in his van, and I begged him one last time to just spend the night with me, just love me. And we were talking, and I asked him, I said, why is it that you treat me this way? I can love you unconditionally, but you can't love me. You can't be what you were before. And he goes, I'm not that person. I'm not. That was a front. And I was like, I'm not the problem. He goes, no, you are the problem. I said, I bet you in 30 days we'll see the truth. He goes, deal. And I got sober that day. During that month that I was homeless in my car up there, Luke called me and Chris was admitting him into a mental hospital. And that's what really triggered me to get sober. I wanted to be there for my kid because my kid needed me. And so after I had that eye-opening, awakening moment with Jared, I got sober. One of my really good friends called me that morning, and she's like, hey, come shower. I was like, all right, I'll be there. And I pull into her driveway, and I had about an ounce of dope on me. And I go inside, I shower, and she can tell that I hadn't used and that I was sober. But she could tell I was fiending. And she looked at me, and this is the first person in 2 years to look at me and be like, I see you. I don't like what I see. And I miss you. And I walked out to my car, and I took every bit of dope I had, and I dumped it into a water bottle. And I dumped it out. And that next morning, she asked to take me to work. I said, yeah. And I left the baggie sitting on top of the water bottle, empty. And she gets in, and she's like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, well, I left it there so that you could see that I dumped out the dope. I said, I just need to use a gas station trash can so I can get rid of the pipe. She goes, fuck that. Get the fuck out. Grabbed a rock, and she goes, let's break this shit right here. And I broke it right there with her. And I slept on the couch for 3 days.
Of mine. I had a breaking and ceremony with mine.
And on the third day, she woke me up. She goes, you gotta get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck on. And she was being cold. And I mean mean. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she finally looked at me and she goes, Kat, if you don't leave right now, you're going to go back to him. She goes, you're not allowed here. She goes, you need to get the fuck out of Oklahoma, or I'm going to beat your ass with a baseball bat, and I'm going to drop you off the county line, or state line. I was like, all right, I don't get what I did. I'm sorry. And she had to be a bitch because she knew that if she wasn't, I would stay. And so that day, she kicked me out of her house. She helped me load up my car, and I drove to the Texas-Oklahoma state line. And I sat there for about 3 hours, and I had to make a decision. Do I fight for my sobriety, or do I fight for my kid and my sobriety at this time? And if you remember in the very beginning, I got sober for my kids and me.
Yeah.
So this time I had to make that decision to get sober for myself. So I drove 18 hours. It took me 2 days to drive to Colorado, and I checked myself into rehab. There was no inpatient rehab that I could get into, so I had to do outpatient. So for the first 2 weeks, I slept in the parking lot or on the porch of the rehab that my dad... So when my dad was 61 years old, he graduated with his master's of chemical dependency, and he became a drug and alcohol counselor. And in Longmont, he opened up a treatment facility called Way Forward. And I went in there because I knew that I would not be judged and welcomed with open arms. And I started my treatment. I was there consecutively every day, every meeting, until Jared showed up and sat across from me at my meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And they escorted him off the property. But I knew at that point my safety was compromised. So I stopped going. I started going to other meetings. I got back on my TikTok. And I started being open and honest about my recovery. The dark, the good, the bad. I started doing home health care, and I had a client that I was his caregiver 6 days a week. And this man helped me heal a lot through my recovery. I hit my 6 months and I was skateboarding. And all of a sudden I got hit on my left side, and it was a hit and run. I fractured my femur. The car that hit me had no tags, very dark windows. They knew it was a male by the hands on the steering wheel. I do want to say it's a car that I've seen Jared in prior. 2 weeks later, I'm on my way to work. And all of a sudden, I have a lifted Jeep road rage run me off the road up over the hood of my car. And I'm not stupid. I know what this man has said to me through our addiction, through the abuse. When I was in the sober living house, I had some lady creeping and stalking me and asking me about personal things Jared only knew about. So I left the sober living because I knew my safety was jeopardized. That was June. August, I got hit by the car. September, I got ran over. October, I'm leaving my night shift at my guy's house, and I get ran off the road. I'm in my dad's car at this point. I get met with a shotgun, and it's my abuser. Why don't you love me? Why don't you care about me? Why can't you see I love you? And by the point he made it up to my driver's side door, I had climbed up and over the back seat, out the back door, and my dad's car at the time. Anytime you put it in drive, it would lock the doors. And so I put it in park and I locked the doors and I climbed to the back. And I put myself as much distance as I could with as much metal and debris barrier as I could, just in case he did try and shoot me. A passerby saw the whole situation and stopped and called the cops immediately. I entered into a domestic violence shelter for the second time because of Jared. And I stayed there. I got on my feet. I got some assistance through them. I got my own place. I ended up with a 3-bedroom apartment in Colorado, doing really good, working my dream job, sober, still working my program, still running my mental health and recovery lives on TikTok. I'm creating a great family, great support, and that's how we met. I started noticing Jared in places that I would be, and started documenting it. Phone calls started happening. Um, I went as far as protecting my information as I didn't have my phone in my name. I had it in my son's dad's name because that's somebody that Jared doesn't know. I started reaching out to my kids because I wanted to have that conversation with my boys. I wanted that, like, I could talk to Luke because Luke had his own phone. But to talk to Dylan, that meant I had to give my phone number to my ex-husband. Um, Within 2 weeks of my ex-husband having my phone number, Jared had my phone number. Phone calls started, stalking started. So I limited the contact with David or Dylan. Come to Christmas, I see David for the first time since I got sober. That's my oldest son who's in the Navy. He knew about the abuse, but he didn't know that any of it was continuing the stalking and the harassment. So when he came and saw me for Christmas, I had to have that conversation with him. And some things were put into place, I'm going to say. Part of my safety plan, part of my safety. Come right after New Year's, Chris and Luke are fighting. Chris gets physical with Luke, dislocates Luke's pointer finger, rips tendons, ligaments. I try everything in my power to have Chris charged with child abuse, child neglect. Because he plays the victim card so well that the cops dropped the charges, even though there was proof. I get a call from Luke on Luke's 18th birthday, February 17th, that his dad has kicked him out on the 16th at 11:55 p.m., that his dad has told him to pack his shit and get out. Luke is on probation. Luke is trying to do everything in his power to stay on the good grace of probation, to do what he needs. He ends up living with his one of the school teachers from his school, who is a CPS worker, who has saved my kid's life. I'm grateful for. My son is thriving. He's graduating high school. He's doing really good. Dylan and I are talking. We are having a constant relationship. I'm calling daily. We're texting. I come out here for my son's graduation, and my ex-husband couldn't even be bothered to show up for my son's graduation to support him or to see him grow. Instead, he takes Dylan and goes to Harker Heights because his mother has an ant problem. His dad is alive. His mom is very capable of dealing with ants. It was a bullshit excuse to keep me from seeing Dylan. Mind you, Chris has known I was sober since March 25th of 24. I had signed a release of information for him to have any information he needed on my recovery. I was dropping UAs, I was passing UAs, I was doing meetings, I was doing classes, I was doing everything I needed to do.
In spite of being
So
stalked
coming out-
during this entire time.
So I come out here and I watch Luke graduate, and being here and being present with my kid made me realize that being in another state is not where I needed to be. I needed to be here. And so for 2 months, I put a plan in order, and was going to come out here. I ended up coming out here sooner than I thought. Dylan's birthday happened, and I sent Dylan a birthday gift. And I didn't think about it. And I gave my actual address, not thinking about it. Well, about 2 weeks after Dylan got the gift, I started noticing random things that I had left at Jared's house in my backyard. I started noticing damage to my dad's car, damage to my roommate's truck.
Mm-hmm.
And then my final breaking point was somebody put water in my master cylinder in my car. That was it. I was done.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking with my life. And so within a week, I packed up everything I owned and I threw what I needed in my car and I fled again. What I do best, right? Right? Run. Run when shit gets hard. Um, but this time I wasn't running. I was coming to face it head on.
Mm-hmm.
I entered into a domestic violence shelter. I completed my parenting classes. I got back in the recovery community out here. I got into church. I did parenting classes, DV classes, fresh start classes. Um, I've been trying to see Dylan. I've been very active in Luke's life. Um, the lady that he lives with, she is a former CPS worker,
Mm-hmm.
and I've met Luke's parole officer. He loves me. Um, I have earned their trust because I have kept my word from day one. And I've made it very clear to Luke, I'm not here to save you. You're not here to save me. I'm here to do what I need to do. And when I first moved out here, she told me I will not testify in court until it's been a year. Well, with me doing everything that I need to do, working my programs, getting my job, getting my house, doing what I need to do, showing up for Luke, even when he's not showing up for himself and still being that parent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
she is willing to support me when I go to court for my ex with my ex. Luke's probation officer is willing to go to court with me and speak on the behalf that since I've been here, I've done nothing but try and better my son's life. I've got him enrolled in college, and his dad has not even wanted that. His dad fought him for 3 months on that. Um, I'm really deep right now in the recovery community out here. I am really deep in my recovery community on TikTok. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just this last week, well, in the last 2 weeks, I've helped 3 other women get into treatment. Um, 2 have been successful, 1 is still iffy. Um, I'm grateful for my recovery today because I'm 18 months sober. I am helping run Zoom meetings today. I am holding a safe place for anybody in addiction and mental health and domestic violence. I am able to show up today for my kid. I am able to sit back and listen today to the fact that I've caused pain in my kids and I can't replace that. I cannot repair that pain. It's happened. And I've been able to explain to my son that, yeah, I'm sorry that I caused that pain. All I can do today is promise that I will never walk away from you again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a lot of healing coming from my son and I. Last weekend, was a really big episode for my son and I. A lot of open discussions happened, a lot of healing happened, and I was able to sit there and let him understand that it wasn't because of him that I walked away, it was because of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees that I'm here, that I'm present, and that I want to be present in his life. And he sees that I'm doing what I need to do for my son. Um, well, for all my boys. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was hit with about 2 weeks ago, I have an active warrant out for my arrest. from back when my truck was stolen, and I'm doing everything in my power to face this and not run from this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reaching out to the right people. I'm asking for help, which is one of the biggest things that I'm not okay doing. I have a hard time doing it. But one thing I've learned through recovery is if we don't speak when we need help, we stay in the problem and not the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Today I'm all about finding a solution for the problem, being a voice for those that are still struggling,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have someone there for me when I was struggling until I finally had someone. And when I had that one person, look, I got sober. So that's pretty much where I'm at today is, you know, I try and be involved in the outreach program as much as possible, the self-harm. We are stronger together when we recover together. And I have a great support system here. You guys are part of it. I'm so grateful I got to meet you guys. And I feel blessed that I got to tell my whole story here. I'm sorry it took 4 episodes, but
No, that's
I wanted
fine.
you guys to get the first raw, real part of it.
And we appreciate you
And,
for that.
anybody that is still out there struggling, please reach out. Um, I'm on TikTok. You can find me as XxBadKatxX. We do recover. You're not alone in this. Um, it's a safe place, non-judgmental. You guys have heard my story. I can't sit there and hold a box and judge somebody when my story is just as bad. If you don't have insurance and you want treatment, please reach out. We have sponsors. Um, we have a way to get you in. So don't think that just because you don't have insurance, we can't get you a bed. You're worth it. You matter. So please keep doing the good. Okay, now your questions.
I don't even have
I don't-
questions
yeah.
in all honesty, but holy shit, Kat, like you're a badass.
Mm-hmm. That's why
Oh,
it was bad cat.
I do want to shout out my dates. So
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out your date.
the lowest one we'll start out with. I am 18 months sober.
Mm-hmm.
I am 20 months out of a very toxic, abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I have taken the last 18 months to work on me, to heal me. I haven't been in a relationship. I'm not saying that I don't want one, but healing is beautiful. Healing takes time. Don't be afraid to put you first. And
Mhm.
lastly, I am, let's see, September, October, November, December. I am 21 months from self-harming.
Thank God.
You know, Kat, I have always been extremely thankful and grateful that I got to meet you and that we met and that we are friends because you've been there for me in times that were very rough. You've helped talk me down through things, helped keep my senses going through the rough moments because our dates are really similar. Mine is April 6th, 24. So our dates, me, you, and Jay, our dates are very close together. But I have to say, I am so proud of you.
Thank you. I am so proud of both of you, to be a part of both of your guys' journey and to be a part of the healing. That's what it's about, There's enough hate, there's enough anger going on in this world that I feel blessed when I get somebody say, hey, I'm struggling. I need someone to talk to, and I've been sent your way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that right there, for every wrong I've done in life, those simple words is I'm rewriting a wrong I've done. You know, I'm not innocent. I don't claim to be innocent. I fucked up. But I own
Mm-hmm.
my fuck ups today because I know without owning them, I'm not going to grow. And I don't want to continue repeating these cycles. It's like this warrant. I am doing everything in my power, reaching out to everybody. I've come up with some of the money for the bond if I have to go turn myself in. Do I
Mm-hmm.
want to sit in jail? No. But if I have to, will I? Absolutely. You know, I just don't want to lose the progress that I've made over the last 18 months to sit in jail, to lose my place, to lose my cat, to lose my ability to be here for the holidays for my kids. And that's the main thing that's keeping me from wanting to go turn myself in. But at the end of the day, if I have to, I will. Um, my pride's not that big. I will go do it.
In other words, you're saying you're willing to do what you need to do to stay on top of things and to stay straight, and that's a big step. That not everybody's willing to do that. It's a hard thing to do, to say I'm going to go ahead and go sit in jail and take care of that while everything that I've been working for the past 18 months is all dissipates. But we already told you you ain't going to lose everything.
No.
We'll
Oh,
make
yeah.
sure of that. We'll make sure of that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
And
Kat,
you'll kidnap my kitty. Spoiler rotten. I know my car will be safe with you guys if I have to. Um,
absolutely.
I'm just hoping that now that I've been able to get a hold of my lawyer, that she will handle this and I can appear in court and get this help dealt with and put behind me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I also start school January. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
become an LCDC, that is a legal chemical dependency degree counselor. It's what I have a passion for. It's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They
I think
need
that's
more people that
amazing.
have walked this life than the ones that have know it from a book.
Yes, completely. I completely agree. And then we'll have you on here again talking all kinds of therapist stuff there.
But I'm so glad that I got to share my full story here with you guys. Um, I've told my story a few times on TikTok, and it's been 45 minutes, so I left out a lot of it. But
Yeah, a lot
this
of it,
is what
honey.
trust, and this is what, not judging somebody is about.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The judgment needs to go. The judgment needs to go out because none of us are innocent. Period.
So
You
I
have
gotta
anything?
ask you, how many days do you have?
Me, 537.
Jess, how many days
537.
do you got?
She's got, let me look at my calendar because I will keep it for her. She's got 264.
Let's go.
I'm like,
And look what happens when
Yeah,
you
I
stop.
keep a track for her. I'm like, oh, by the way, it was day 250 for you. Woohoo! Celebration.
I keep track of all the baby numbers.
Yeah, she's got the baby thing to take care of. So we do that.
But look at what
I had
happened when you did what was right for you. You got that baby.
Oh,
Yes, exactly what I told her. I was like, look at that. Now we have the podcast going. This was something that we've been dreaming of this entire time. You know, this is living the dream right here.
This is what recovery does. And, we kind of talked about this off air. Everybody's recovery is everybody's recovery. It's different for everybody, you know. So as long as it's keeping you sober from your drug of choice, or picking up an alcohol, or self-harming, do what it is that you do that keeps you sober today.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And you gotta, not everybody's the same. So everybody's route is going to be different. What works for one person may not work for another. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean you have a right to judge it.
Absolutely.
And that's where I stand. Is
'Cause
just because you don't understand.
we have been our own worst critic, because that's what kept us in our active addiction. Is we didn't know our worth, we didn't know what love was, we didn't know any of it. And so, like I say to everybody, now, you matter, you're worth it, you're loved. And I mean that, even if I don't know you and you are struggling, I will hype you up to where you know that your shit don't stink. You are on top of the
Mm-hmm.
world, because that's the way you need to feel.
Absolutely. You've done it to me countless of times, and many others, many others.
And I would do it all over again. You know my number, how
And
to get a
another
hold
thing,
of me.
of course, you're stuck. You're stuck. Stuck like
I'm
glue.
stuck like glue.
You and me too. Well, I think on that note, Kat, you're awesome. You're amazing. You're beautiful,
Thank
and
you.
I love you. And we appreciate you for giving us the honor of being the first ones to tell your full story too. I know it took 4 episodes, but that's perfectly fine. That means we have 4 episodes. So, hey, And
Well, thank
we
you.
most
I'm
definitely
honored
would
that you
love to
asked me
have
to do
you.
it.
Yeah, we'll absolutely be glad to have you here. Make another time where we have you here on another time.
So, I'm going to ask you, when do you want to tell your story on my TikTok?
Me?
Both of you.
Uh, whenever you want. Do you want my full story, or do you want like just the since I hit my
I
head with
want
the.
whatever you are comfortable saying.
Well, I do this. I'm comfortable with saying anything. you know. Um,
Well, we will
I
start it, and I will allow you to say what you want to say. I'm not going to push you. It's your
yeah.
story to tell. But I would definitely be honored to hear your story, both of your guys' stories. Um, I'm very blessed to have both of you in here.
Well, we're very blessed to have you.
Yes, we
Thank
are.
you.
Even though I was all sideways over there.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. There you go. Now you're normal. What the hell? What happened? That was creepy.
But I will let you guys get on with your day. Sorry I took up so much time.
No, don't be sorry. We enjoyed it. We appreciate you, and I'm sure quite a few people will understand. And your story is a roadmap to somebody else's healing. You know, and it's
Just
very
remember,
important.
I was struggling really bad yesterday with everything going on this noon, this warrant and everything.
Mhm.
And I had to stop and remind myself, my worst day sober is better than any day using.
Mhm. Yeah. And I always say that there's a lot of things that I have to stress about, but doing drugs is one thing I don't. There's many things I have to stress, but
Right.
to the fact that I'm doing drugs right now, that I don't. So it's just one thing off the checklist. But on that note,
Yep.
we thank you, and
Thank you.
thank you guys for looking in through the glass. Giselle.
Cat showing off flippity flop. I'm exhausted now.
Okay, she said, catch you on the flippity flop. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for
All right,
watching.
I love you, ladies.
Love you too.